On behalf of the Board of Education, I welcome you to this April meeting and thank you for your interest in educational matters affecting our district. And we give a special welcome to our students who are here, and we will be recognizing them a little later. And also we thank the parents and any supporters who are here for these students. That's our favorite part of the program, is recognizing students and their achievements, as well as staff and their achievements. We also understand that you may just be here for a portion of the meeting, and while we welcome you to stay for as much of the meeting as you can, we do realize that you may need to leave after the item for which you are here has been dealt with. So welcome, and we will rise for a moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Now the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. It's great hearing all the kids. The first agenda item is on the adoption of the agenda. Does anyone have questions about or changes to the agenda?
2 amendments to the agenda tonight. Amend agenda item number 26 to include purchase order number DPO 074635. I apologize, my allergies. It'll come and go. Did you get that?
Yes, so we're adding on agenda item 26, insert direct purchase order number DPO 0746-35 just before the CCBOE purchase order number.
The second amendment to the agenda is to add item number 36, closed session, KRS 61.810, parenthesis 1, and parenthesis C. Discussions of proposed or pending litigation against or on behalf of the public agency. Let me say that. Do you want to say
The item 36 that's being added is for a closed session for legal matters relating to proposed litigation per KRS 61.810, paragraph 1, subsection C. Is that correct? Questions about the agenda or the additional items? A motion is in order to adopt the revised agenda.
Make the motion.
Motion by Ms. Patkin.
Second.
Second by Ms. Wolf. Other discussion?
That was BJ.
I had the same thing.
Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. The motion carries 5-0. Thank you.
Oh, wait, there's a paper down here.
The next item is approval of the minutes of the March 20th, 2012 meeting. Ms. Patkin was absent from that meeting. Questions? A motion is in order to approve the minutes of March 20th, 2012.
I'll move to approve the minutes.
Motion by Dr. Kudak.
Second.
Second by Ms. Wolf. Other discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed say no. The motion carries 4-0 with Ms. Patkin absent from that meeting and not voting. Thank you. The next part of the agenda will be student and staff recognition, and we have several people to recognize tonight. So Ms. Ferris and okay. We're going to reverse roles tonight. I get to read, and she will present the certificates and recognitions.
Yes.
The first recognitions On Saturday, March 24th, elementary schools from Clark County went to Strode Station Elementary to compete in the first Superintendent's Cup Challenge. For this challenge, each team had to compete in a quick recall match versus another school. Congratulations to Central Elementary School's academic team for placing second in the Superintendent's Cup. And would the team members please come forward and line up there just in front of the board members. The team members are Hannah Abner, Kobe Baker,
You get a certificate.
Grayson Barnett, Malia Bell, Jenna Bruner, CJ DeWeese, Ezekiel DeGiba, Jacob Fraley, Brendan Hernandez, Allison Jones, Lauren Matthew, Logan Ann Moberly, John Thomas O'Brien, Brylan Stanfield, Gabe Williams, Abigail Wilson. The team is coached by Robbie Arnold and Krista Camilleri. So would coaches, if they're present, also come forward.
After you get your certificates, guys, line up along here.
Yes,
so everybody
line
can
up
see you.
after you get your certificates, form a line so everyone can see you and so folks can get pictures. Make 2 rows, shorter ones in front. So Dr. Ferris, do you want to join them in the picture there? Congratulations to Central students. Congratulations.
Extra to the coach.
The first Superintendent's Cup winner was Strode Station Elementary. Strode Station's academic team started off by winning their matches against Trapp Elementary, Hannah McClure Elementary, and Pilot View. This took Strode's team into the finals of the competition. The final round against Central Elementary was very exciting, with Strode winning 2 out of 3 matches. After a long day full of questions and thinking, Strode Station walked away with the title champion. Strode Station academic team members, please come forward as your names are called. Megan Akers, Jared Brown, Jayden Bird, Caitlin Buttrey, Liz Hale, Ben Jackson, Olivia Montgomery, Victoria Plank, Tamias Robinson, Brianna Simpson. The team coaches are Stephanie Harvey and Hannah Terry. Please come forward. Congratulations to our champions, and this is the trophy for the Congratulations again, and to the second place winners, and special thanks to Strode Station for hosting the event, to all the principals who attended, and Ms. Considine for organizing the Challenge Cup. And I got to participate as well. Thank you. The next recognition is on March 22nd. GRC sophomore DJ Richardson earned first place at the Student Technology Leadership Program State Championship Competition at the Lexington Convention Center. DJ competed in the digital storytelling category, winning for her story entitled Most Likely Forgotten, Amelia. STLP gives students statewide a venue for creating and showing projects that integrate technology and problem solving into education and learning. STLP was established in 1994. DJ has also been selected to attend the Gatton Academy for the 2012-2013 school year. So congratulations. Please come forward, DJ.
Is she here?
Each year, to celebrate and promote the school breakfast program, the School Nutrition Department supports National School Breakfast Week. This year's theme, School Breakfast, Go for the Gold, highlighted how eating a healthy, balanced breakfast at school helps students shine. Students in grades 1 through 12 had the chance to show off their artistic talent by submitting their own school breakfast t-shirt design artwork highlighting the benefits of eating a healthy breakfast. The winner of the Clark County Public Schools National School Breakfast Week Art Contest at the elementary school level is Kirsten Newton. Kirsten is a 4th grader at Providence. Please come forward, Kirsten. The winner of this Clark County Public Schools National School Breakfast Week Art Contest at the middle school level is Harley Ritchie. Harley is an 8th grader at Clark Middle School. Please come forward, Harley. The winners from each school level received a $25 scholarship from the Clark County School Nutrition Association, and the artwork was sent to the Kentucky School Nutrition Association for entry in the state level contest. Winners at the state level will receive a $100 scholarship. So congratulations to both of our students. The next awards are for staff recognitions. The first one is Stacy Wasson, a 4th grade teacher at Pilot View Elementary, was nominated by Superintendent Ferris for the Excellence in Teaching Award from Campbellsville University. The purpose of Campbellsville University's Excellence in Teaching Awards program is to recognize the quality of teaching taking place in the school districts across Kentucky. The program began in 1987 by the university in partnership with Lexington's CBS affiliate WKYT-TV. Stacy was nominated for this award because she exemplifies a professional who is dedicated to her students and their excellence in the classroom. The purpose of the award is to recognize individuals for their leadership and dedication to the teaching profession, with the expectation that the recipient's example may inspire all teachers to excel. The criteria for being selected as a recipient include energy and enthusiasm for teaching, using variety of methods in instruction, applying originality in meeting students' needs, demonstrating efficient time management and reliability, exhibiting professional integrity and cooperation, devoting time and energy to improving professional competence, working to maintain a relationship between the school and community, and demonstrating good moral character. Stacy will be recognized by Campbellsville University at an awards luncheon and will receive a personalized certificate, a press release, and photo in the community newspaper. Stacy has been teaching since 2003 at Pilot View Elementary and is a national board certified teacher. It's exciting to have the opportunity to recognize our teachers who go beyond the call of duty to ensure academic success of their students. Thank you, Stacy, for what you do, and please come forward. Congratulations. The next recognition is for Stephen Parks, mathematics teacher at George Rogers Clark High School, who has been selected as an All-American Teacher of the Year. This award comes from Advanced Kentucky, which is in partnership with the Kentucky Science and Technology Corporation and the National Math and Science Initiative. Mr. Parks teaches advanced placement calculus. This award recognizes significant contributions that teachers make to advance rigorous education in Kentucky. Mr. Parks earned this honor through his content knowledge and classroom proficiency. Stephen has 61 qualifying scores for Calculus AB last year, and 31 of those 61 were 5s. That's the highest score you can get on an AP exam. He received his $3,000 threshold bonus and $100 per qualifying score for a total amount of $9,100. He will attend a reception in Washington, D.C., where he will receive his award. Please come forward, Stephen, for the recognition from the district. Congratulations. The final staff award, Clark County Public Schools participated in the statewide community-based volunteer advising effort known as Operation Preparation during the week of March 12 through 15. This joint initiative of the Kentucky Department of Education, Clark County Public Schools, and the Clark County community provided a powerful opportunity for the schools, students, parents, and community to collaborate in the college and career planning and advising process. More than 210 community volunteers were a part of this very successful endeavor. The recruiting of the volunteers was quite a challenge, but Mr. Bruce Manley, campus director of the BCTC Winchester campus, rose to the challenge. Bruce, along with the BCTC staff, recruited more than 100 student volunteers to work with our 8th and 10th graders during Operation Preparation. This also happened to be this week of spring break for the BCTC students. So we thank Bruce for his partnership and support of Clark County Public Schools and the students. Your excellent shows. And I don't believe Mr. Manley is here this evening, but we wanted to give him that public recognition and thank him for that, for his work in that very successful endeavor. So. That concludes the staff and student recognition part of the meeting. So thank you very much. I was about to get her a drink. No, I'm not into special. No, I'm not chocolate. But Debbie probably likes it. Mike, do you like dark chocolate? No. But I'm stealing the Twix and the Kit
I'm a little bit older, but I'm really good. I appreciate it. Thank you. All the things.
This isn't my plan.
And you've never seen my on it.
There we go. That's good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, that's much better, Paul. Thank you.
I don't think it's it.
We also have a meeting at the high school auditorium. We're going to have this meeting here. We need that meeting at the high school auditorium.
I think
Not now.
All the time.
wow.
We are ready to continue.
I don't think they heard that, Judy. We might need to do that.
Hello. We are ready to continue with the meeting. The next part of the meeting is public comments. We have one person who has signed up to address the board. Patty Columbia will address the topic of bullying in our schools.
I'm not a confrontational person, and I've never been accused of being one, nor do I come to be mean in any way, but this is actually just for the board themselves. This is not toward our superintendent right now. But on March 19th, and I'm hoping that there are enough principal people in the room. On March 19th, we trusted one of your board members, your chairman of the board, and I know you cannot address me after this, so I'm just going to make the statements that are facts. My husband and I trusted our chairman of the board to meet with us, and she was more than willing. This was on March 19th, to discuss some issues that we had had. During this meeting, she openly told us that our superintendent, oh my God, she lied to me. Oh my God, she lied to me. She looked at my husband and said, oh my God, she lied to me. I'm sorry.
Excuse me, Ms. Columbia, your topic is bullying.
It is about bullying. I'm
schools.
going to finish. When you get to the reason why, she asked if we had any proof. We turned around and showed her a cell phone that had messages on it. These messages came from someone that my husband trusted for many years to not ever address him in that way. And when it happened, he was so embarrassed that he told no one. And as his wife, I didn't know. I didn't know until a month ago, before we trusted the chairman of the board to meet with us over them. I know now that you could not be trusted, and it's a shame. I'm disappointed in you. Each board member has been shown these.
Ms. Columbia, you are not discussing the topic.
Okay,
that
I'm
you
getting
signed
there.
up.
Do I not getting just a minute to get to that point?
No, ma'am.
You
Your
can't
topic
tell-
is bullying
Okay,
in
well,
our schools.
since it's you that did it, basically, you bullied us that night when you gave us some faith in you. We trusted you, and you as his boss also. led us to believe that you were going to address this. Well, the text messages, we were told that it was not her best decision, but nobody addresses somebody that works for them. And I watched that board meeting that night, and you said you don't do that to your employees. And that is bullying in its worst case, to the point that my husband was so ashamed he would tell no one that you did that. And I'm ashamed of you too, because I have to watch him question why you would do that. And I don't, so yes, I'm finished, but you let us down too, Judy, and you knew better than to say that. She sits next to you. She trusted you that day too, to not say someone was spying on her, that you had them take a photo of her car at the Kentucky State University. I didn't bring the tape because I think that that gets worse, and I don't know how she'd want to sit next to you or you sit next to her. But I'm finished. I won't bother you anymore, and I don't do confrontations, and you won't hear from me in a public forum again.
The next item is the superintendent's report.
Just a few district updates, and then a couple of state things that I put in your packet that says for your information. We're completing the fourth 9 weeks of instructional rounds and compiling that data for the year. Brenda and her staff and Lewis and his group are doing the instructional rounds at the middle schools, and we're finishing those up in the next couple of weeks. Those instructional rounds, of course, focused on learning targets. And what we have found is that that has helped us to really focus on implementing the Common Core standards. We're in the first stage of planning our elementary summer learning academy. We're in the process of sending letters home to our students and parents on Monday. We have over 100 students at the elementary level and over 100 at the middle and high school level that will be receiving letters to attend our Summer Learning Academy, which will be focusing on math and literacy this year. We're also planning our closing day, professional development, which will be, we will be editing our last 3 units of our reading and math units of our new Common Core standards. There are some technology things going on that I wanted to share. Jeff and Stacy had their first conference call. We are all in the process across the state migrating our units to the cloud. That has been a big undertaking for the state of Kentucky. And all of the migration across the state will be done no later than June the 30th. Our tentative date to go live is May the 31st. So that's a big deal, but we are looking forward to that. It will be a lot more efficient and effective for the school district. We're also trying to integrate our time clock with our units so we can complete our May the 15th payroll. So far it's gone very smoothly, and what this will give us an opportunity to do is to automatically post our paid leave days to our munis and classified payroll. So it's another process in trying to be more efficient and effective here at the district office. Scarlett, Jamie, and Stacy have also met with SubFinder, and we're trying to integrate that also with munis so that we will have a streamlined process where all of this information will fold into our munis processes. And what that will help us do is that we will be able to clean up our data, and we'll also be able to, SubFinder will be able to run where we can have more of a streamlined process where we'll see where those teachers are that are absent, that will go into our munis report as well. And what we have done is work with munis and with SubFinder, and we will be able to get a 10% discount on our annual agreement for SubFinder for next year if we can get this completed. Also, Stacy and Dr. Wagner and I are still working on our tentative budget. We met on Monday, and we're continuing to look at where we are with that, and we're meeting with staff and administrators and trying to get an idea of what else needs to go into that tentative budget before we bring it to you on May the 24th. As you well know, our testing has already started. We started our alternate assessments on April 13th. We've got in the course assessments that will start on April 23rd in English 2, Algebra 2, and U.S. History. We've got non-required end of course assessments that the high school is implemented this year in Algebra 1, Geometry, English 1, and English 3, and that will start on April the 30th. We are giving our seniors the Compass test, those who have been involved in our transitional courses, and they will take that starting on May the 7th. We also, as you saw, Mr. Parks was here, we will start at advanced placement assessments on May the 7th in chemistry, Spanish, art history, calculus, English literature, language, U.S. history, European history, music therapy, physics, biology, French, statistics, and human geography. So all that will start on May 7th as well. And then, of course, we've got the state assessment, new name called K-Prep, with our grades 3 through 8. That starts on May 7th. And then K-Prep for grades 10 through 11, which is on-demand writing only, will start on May 10th. So you know what we'll be doing in the next few weeks. We will be testing, and more testing. I think the schools have been very diligent. The students are ready, and they have been working very hard, focusing on the content that's been taught. So we're excited about the opportunity to have an opportunity to show what we have learned for these 170 plus days of instruction. Also, just to share a little bit from our special ed department, the GRC students with disabilities attended the University of Kentucky's Transitional Fair, and that was very successful. The students were very engaged with that. We're also in the process at GRC trying to develop a college and career readiness technology lab, where the old KTLN area was. Those of you who know GRC, we're trying to redo that into a college and career readiness technology lab at GRC. Donald has been working with David and maintenance on trying to make that happen. And what we want to do is use our Education 2020 and serve our 3 high at-risk categories, our special ed, free and reduced lunch, and our minority populations. Also, the district has supported each building with their transitional meetings as they're moving from one grade level to the next, preschool to K, elementary to middle, and middle to high, really focus on our students with disabilities through those transitions. And Donald and his staff have been working very hard and diligent with that. Do want to give you a couple of state updates. The SEEK allocation for the 2012-2013 school year will be at 3833, but it will decrease for the 2013-2014 school year, and it will be decreased from 3833 to 3827. So that's the 2 fiscal years coming up that they have said that the SEEK dollars will be at those specific numbers. Of course, you all know that the legislators have begun their special session on yesterday, which is supposed to only run about 5 days. But having a packet, because there's quite a few of those, I won't go over all those with you, but I gave you a summary of all the K-12 education legislation. And I do want to make note of one, which is House Bill 37, that I have been talking with staff about, that I'm very excited about, and that's the Districts and Schools of Innovation, where districts can apply to the state to have waivers for some regulations that are in place, so that schools and districts can be very creative as to how they can help all students be successful. So we'll continue to look at that and see what we can do with that one. But I won't go over all those, but you do have a list of all the education bills that have passed. If you have any questions about any of them, please let me know, and I'll be glad to discuss those with you at any time. Any questions about any of the updates? A lot going on. We're excited about it. We've got about 23 more days of school left, and I tell you, everybody is just working really, really hard and staying focused. As you well know, we've got a lot of stuff going on trying to get to May the 18th.
Thank you. Our special education program funding trends, Ms. Clark.
Good evening.
I'm here to present you with some information you requested at last month's board meeting. And if you'll pull up the tables, Chris. I'm not going to read the entire narrative to you, but as we look at the tables, I will highlight some things that I feel are important. Okay. So the first table you see is for the same 5-year trends that you were presented last month with data. I have gone and gotten the same 5 years of funding sources. And as you'll see, the first column depicts the SEEK add-on for exceptional children that was received by us from KDE. And the second column shows the percentage change from year to year for that funding. And then you'll see the next two columns, the Idea B federal grant that we were allocated. And in the fourth and fifth columns there, you will see the Idea B era federal, which if you will recall, we received as a one-time allocation, and we were able to spend that from July 1st, 2009 through September 30th, 2011. So that grant has been completely closed out at this point. And of course, a grand total of our special ed funding sources for those 5 years. And basically what I wanted to say is over the 5-year trend, there's been a total decrease in the SEEK state funding of $520,567, or about 15.5% from fiscal year 2008 to 2012. Idea B funding has stayed fairly stable. That all depends on our child counts and the federal funding allocation that comes down to the state. And then, so like I said, the Idea B era being one-time dollars. And I took all of these numbers from the KDE's website. And when I show you this next table here with the expenditures, the funding sources I was able to get from the state website. The expenditures, I had to pull the detail from our Munis accounting system, and unfortunately it would not let me go back any farther than 2009. Every time I typed in 2009, 2008, I received errors. So I just wanted to let you know that's why I could not have the full 5 years on the expenditure side for the breakdown. As you can see here again, I've broken it down to correlate to the funding sources you saw on the previous pages. The general fund, state and local, you can see that over the last 4 years, our expenditures have decreased by $3,244, basically almost 0%, less than 0.001% when you calculate that out. And I did make the note that on 2011-12, all of these are budgeted numbers, as we have not finished the year, so I don't have final expenditures. Idea B federal, you will see those numbers as well. I will make one note on Idea B, because it's a 27-month grant. In past years, we've sometimes had a little bit of balance at the end of the year that we've been able to carry forward, but with increasing personnel costs over the last years, that end of year balance has slowly decreased to where now we're running closer to what our current budget is for the year. And that's just how it has worked out. We tried to get that a little bit tighter, and then you can see how we spent the ERA funds over 3 years. But the basic total special education expenditures have decreased by $41,130 over 5 years, or 0.8%. So you can see that while the funding has decreased significantly, the expenditures have stayed fairly steady through that. And obviously anything we do not receive from the state SEEK add-on, we're supplementing with our local tax dollars for the general fund expenditures. So, any questions?
Questions to Ms. Parr? Well, considering the level of the decrease in revenue and that we have been able to maintain that, that's just very commendable of the staff and the folks who work on administering that program and implementing that program. So thank you for the report and for others who worked on it. Other questions or comments related to this report? Thank you.
Thank you.
And we're going to have an update on our new elementary school. Mr. Smith.
Not quite used to those things. Glad to be here tonight. things are moving well at the new elementary school. I think y'all did you get in your packet a copy of the report? Okay, I thought we'd sent that over earlier. I apologize then. Okay, so this will be news to you. I thought I was going to answer questions. You may have even more questions now. All right, well, I'll look into that. We'll have one here beforehand the next month.
I don't remember seeing it.
I'm sorry?
I don't remember seeing it.
Oh, well, it's probably something electronic or and getting it communicated. So, well, construction's moving along well. I have with me tonight as well, if we have any specific questions about the site, John Hagan with Codell, our construction manager, is here. Construction is about 9 or 10% along. It remains on schedule and on budget at this point in time. The progress is moving up out of the ground. They've completed the earthwork to construct the building pad, which if you've been by, you've seen the gravel and the exposed dirt out there. You can start to see the curve of the building, which will eventually be the front loop and the main entry that faces sort of that opening from the road as you go between Concrete on your right and Central on your left there, going back through there. You can start to see that. So they're getting up out of the ground. They're also starting to install underground storm piping. They've got that in place where it needed to be to allow the building pad to come on. There will be some more as we phase the parking in that will come at a future date. They're starting to put underground plumbing in, the drain pipe being the lowest is one of the first things that goes in. They're getting deliveries of conduit on site. They'll start putting underslab rough in for the electrical and technology and those kind of things that run through the building. They'll start to install underground rebar. They've started to dig footings and trenches. We're pouring concrete earlier tonight. They're getting rebar delivered on site. So there's just a whole lot of activity on site. They've got it well fenced off. They've got the construction entrance marked. It is of particular attention because I know we're still using the ball field behind there, but there's a separation between not just the entry, but also between the construction sites. So you can walk outside the construction site and still access the ball field back there. But Codell is very good. They're used to working on existing sites. They're very attentive to safety. It's one of their top priorities, so they're doing a good job of keeping the site safe. There's a lot of stuff going on in our office and Codell's office. We're getting just a slew of shop drawings now. We're getting structural items in terms of rebar that I talked about. That comes in phases. We're getting structural steel, joist, concrete block. Our mechanical and electrical engineers starting to look at all the systems, panels, transformers, the long lead items that they need. So there's just a whole lot of activity going on now. It's all going very well so far. The weather has cooperated. We've had very good weather. So we anticipate, looking ahead, hopefully, that the weather stays with us. We'll keep the good progress going.
Questions to Mr. Smith?
All right, thank you all.
Thank you. And Ms. Disney, an overview of operation preparation.
Well, as you heard, unfortunately, Mr. Manley wasn't able to be here, but I think you know quite a bit about operation preparation, but I wanted to just give you an update of where how many students, we saw all of our students, over 840 some students. But I wanted to let you know some of the organizations that were involved with operation preparation. For us, it was the week of March 12th through 15. We were not in school on the 16th. Every 8th and 10th grade student, our folks did the online training. That was something when they agreed to sign up for this that they did on their own. They brought their certificate. They had been trained. We have those. They did their sign-in sheet. It was just in talking with the counselors at both middle schools and the high school, students were very, very appreciative. I think some of you participated, and you heard some of the personal comments. Many of our staff participated. There's one group that I left off, and I didn't think about it today till I was sitting in the courtroom. We had a judge who participated with us, and he was most helpful. And in fact, he's the one who did the day treatment. In fact, he talked about it again today in court, how much he enjoyed that part of it. So that was good. It was, I think it was something when we first started, I was like, oh my word, how are we going to do this? But putting everyone's heads together, had a lot of help here from central office. Was able to talk with Bruce, and he said, let me see what I can do. He did a lot of recruiting, as you heard. We had lots of people throughout the community. I think I was at every function in the month of February and April, or February and January, recruiting. I did a radio show. I was at City Council. I was at Fiscal Court. I was at every civic organization. And it was just overwhelming, the people who said, sure, I'll help out. In fact, we were able to finish and not have to use everyone. So given that thought and how well it was received, we would like to, we're talking here in the office how we can build on this. And working with the principals, they were very positive and thought, you know, there's some way we can go on with this, especially in our fall and looking at the spring, perhaps doing this, whether the state of Kentucky sponsors this or not, something we want to do because it is very important. So along that line of thinking, you do see a shirt there that has, it's for you, and all of our people who work with the central office staff and the Clark County Public School staff all had a shirt, and they wore that identifying themselves as being with Operation Preparation. So when people were coming in and out of the building, that's everyone from the receptionist to all the counselors, the principals, everyone. So when we do this again, you've already got your shirt. We expect you to sign up. And continue those of you that did. And if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to entertain them. But it was a great undertaking. It was very rewarding. Most of the people walked away that I spoke with said, you know, I got a lot more out of it than the kids did, I'm sure. And the kids were saying, man, they took time to come in and talk to me. You know, people other than their counselor, their principal, their teacher. So, and you can see, if you wouldn't mind, guys, so the audience can see some of the organizations, just scroll up a bit, that were involved with us. Every, you know, community service folks, the Kiwanis, we had churches, we had the hospital with folks were involved. Some of us in central office who have adult children, they were recruited and they did well, didn't they, Scarlett? And so we had spouses that we recruited. So we had a lot of people across the community that all had an interest in Clark County students, so it was very good.
Very good. Is any follow-up planned with this group of students?
This group is, yes, when we build on it, that will be the next step.
Okay.
Okay? Yes.
Well, that's phenomenal. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coordinating and making it, and everyone who made it happen.
Yes, well, the
Thank
community
you.
really stepped forward. I am so appreciative of that.
And continuing with your next presentation.
Next presentation, let's look at our attendance. Yes, we have 23 days left. And I would like to say that if we could go to, which one are you going to put up first, guys? You guys did receive this, right? Because
Yes,
their month
yes.
did not end until Friday. So, okay. It was in, okay, thank you. I knew Arlene wouldn't let me down.
But it's posted as well. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I would like to tell you while we're looking for that Hannah McClure is now waving the flag proudly. If you have an opportunity and you're in town and you'd like to see what our flag, you saw it hanging, but if you'd like to actually see it at school, McClure is doing an excellent job of waving that flag. Well, let's talk about then, let's just look at this one if you could, guys. You with me there?
Yeah.
Okay. That shows you what our attendance is month by month. And at the end, at the end of the 8th month, we're at 94.58%. And this time last year, at the end of the 8th month, we were at 94.29%. So we are still ahead of the game.
Yes, excellent.
We're talking how we can really encourage folks to make sure they're in school this last month. Remember, after this month ends, we will have 5 days left on that 10th month. So, but we're working with that. Ms. Considine's working with the elementary principals. I'll be working with the middle school and the high school principals to see what we can do. We know there's a lot of testing. The weather should be good. We should be healthy, right, Dr. Kudak?
Yes.
Thank you.
Flu's gone.
Flu's gone, so, you know, we're
We'll work
hoping
on
things
this
are looking
first.
up. And then if you will go to the other, I'm not sure, guys, what number it is for you all.
Oh, we don't know where they are.
that kind of gives you a comparison of where we were in the last year to this year.
It's called comparison.
We had talked earlier today, I think if you all remember, a couple of years ago when Dr. Wagner, Dr. Art was here, and they made a statement that if we could increase attendance by 1%, that's an additional
$500,000. Yes.
So we're trying to get an increase of 1%.
Yes, we are.
So we can get $500,000.
Yes, we are.
Long way.
We're on our way. Yes, but we need everyone's help. Everyone needs to be in school.
I won't tell them.
Any questions on the attendance?
No, how did kindergarten registration go?
Kindergarten registration went really, really well. We were able in our office, for those students who are already in preschool, we always before they've had to go register, we were able to roll up all their records. They did not have to fill out all that paperwork again. And we ask our folks to go to their school in their home district, and then we'll deal with individual requests from that point on. But no, it was very smooth. Jennifer was out in every school. Elementary principals, you can speak to that. I think it went, did you see any problems with kindergarten registration? So I'm very appreciative for Jennifer for coming up with that idea. She said, let's somehow make it so they don't have to come back. They filled all that paperwork out last year.
Do we have numbers of the pre-registered?
No, not yet, but I will. Okay.
Great.
All right.
Other?
Next month.
Yes, yes. That was part of the plan to have that to you next month. Was kindergarten.
Other questions or comments related to attendance and such? Keep it up these next 23 days. Thank you. And continuing, Ms. Disney, with the implementation impact check of the learning environment component.
They'll keep me straight. Okay. Let's look at our implementation and impact check, the learning environment component. You've had that. Do you have any questions concerning that document? Had a lot of help with this also.
On that very first strategy and then impact about the not quite 40% of the student parents using the parent portal. I'd really like to see that number go up. And one of the things that we had talked about at one point, Jeff and I had talked about it, is that when we have that great big huge freshman orientation day, is having somebody out there at that high school talking about parent portal to them and showing them how to go ahead and getting signed up and getting that ID so that you're not having to go to the office and you're already out there. And we also talked about doing that also with, is Becky in here? Doing the
meal plan.
The
School bus?
Yes, the
lunch.
What's it called?
School bus.
It's
called lunch
School
box?
bucks now.
The school bus.
Yes.
School bus. Okay.
So then do all of that at
Yes.
the same time and kind of.
That is already on the calendar. Yes.
I don't know, and I don't know what our numbers are. If there's a way that you can, Jeff, is there a way that you can tell what the numbers are and who is accessing this?
Right.
Is it a higher number of? I mean, I know how much I'm on it for my two seniors, but I don't. Can you tell who's accessing it?
To a degree, yeah. It's limited, but to a degree, absolutely.
So is it a higher percentage of high school parents, or is it more middle school?
I'd have to
look at it.
We can look at it that way, but also since it is on the mobile app, we can't monitor that.
Right.
And I was just in talking with folks because I've been in some of these, and I've had people say, "Oh, thank you for the mobile app. That's just so." But I don't know who uses it or not.
Right.
So there's no way of monitoring that
And
one.
my thought process on that is maybe we just need to gear it more towards our focus on who it is that's not getting it and focus on them. Like maybe it's our middle school parents. I mean, I anytime I'm out and about and they complain about not knowing what grades are, you do parent portal and kind of push it.
And also our judicial system, unfortunately, I spend some time there on Thursdays, but all three judges that I've been, all push parent portal. parents will say, well, I didn't know that. Well, do you have parent portal? Ms. Disney can show you how to do it.
Yeah.
So we do have people in the community who are also.
What we can look at, matter of fact, Barbara and Jennifer and I, when we went out to church on a Sunday, and actually we're registering parents after church service. So we have been trying every way we possibly could to get more parents to sign up. But it might be that, our principals like competition. That if we can have some kind of incentive that if they register so many parents, that the board might give them $2,000 or $3,000 check.
Attendance fees are not in there.
That'd be fair, but I know the guy in the back row, he would cheat. Montgomery County guy would cheat.
Seriously, we could think about doing something like that, because they can always use an extra couple $1,000 to buy novels or accelerated readers or something like that. And that way they can kind of start pushing it with their parents a little more. It's always good to kind of make a competition out of it, and they always rise to the occasion. So that's something we can look at.
I had a similar thought when I was reviewing this. I think this is an important number because we are always looking for ways for parents to get more involved in their child's education and more cooperation between the school district and the parents. And if you've got parents accessing Parent Portal and seeing what their kids are up to academically and what's coming up and all those things, it's an important number. I have thought, we've been going through a lot of different components of the Comprehensive District Improvement Plan, and I appreciate the work everybody's done into reviewing this and showing us where we are at this in terms of updates. I had a thought. At the hospital, we have a certain set of things that we use for benchmark measures, and some of the benchmarks are internal, and some of them are made by the federal government. But it's things like hospital readmissions, timed antibiotics in the emergency room, and these are standard things that we study. These are our metrics, and if we go to any type of meeting, medical staff meeting, Department of Medicine meeting, we're presented with basically a dashboard of where we are on these metrics, and the quality staff at the hospital knows where we are on these metrics at any given time. So I think it would be a good idea to assess where we are on our improvement plan, to have a dashboard and to have certain metrics which we think are very important to us, as a board, and to the things that we're trying to do to improve our schools. There are certain things in our plan which I think would be good metrics, and this would be an example of one. This is probably something that's important enough to say we need to look at this every month or every quarter, and maybe that could be a homework project for the board this summer. So look at the Comprehensive District Improvement Plan and say, all right, what items here are really key items and things that we need to be focusing on and looking at every meeting or every other meeting or on a very frequent basis, because these are going to be our key indicators for our success in making our schools better. So just a thought.
Sure. Yeah. Good thought. Anything else related to
more work
this
for Ms.
component?
Disney. She didn't want that.
That's okay. I have a lot of help.
Thanks very much for this component as well.
Certainly.
We appreciate the work that you and the others have done in giving us those updates and progress reports. So, thank you. Next, the school council staffing allocations and budgets. Back up, Ms. Clark.
Hello. I'm no Dr. Wagner, but I will do my best to present his narrative. And that is where we'll focus. You received both. His narrative actually was prepared by Dr. Arvin, and the backup of each individual school's allocation you should have received. And as you know, the KAR requires that we give each school a final allocation by May 1st. The allocation that you would be approving tonight includes Section 4, which is certified staff and benefits, Section 5, which is classified staff and benefits, and Section 6, which is funding for instructional supplies, materials, travel, and things of that nature. And just a reminder that in each of the school's individual sheets, you saw dollar amounts. And Just remember that those are generalized for average salaries. So those dollar amounts, when it comes down to the actual tentative budget, could fluctuate due to actual personnel that are placed into those positions. And also just to advise you, we have not done this for several years, but just as a reminder that this allocation does not make a provision for Section 7 at this time. Of course, the board was able to do things like this past year with their contingency plan to later give some benefit to schools, but at this time it does not. Our allocation formula that you approved in February was applied to our projected enrollment for 2012-13 that you received, I believe, in December or January in the demographic and enrollment report. And just a reminder that this will be adjusted during the first few weeks of school if there are changes in enrollment based on what is projected. We do a 5th day enrollment head count, basically, of who is actually there. And if a school's enrollment is up or down, we may make adjustments as needed. And also, this does not include itinerant staff, special education staff, or any other district staff. This is strictly the certified teachers based on the per pupil numbers and the classified staff that are accounted for in our allocation plan. If you'll refer to Table A, we'll start with going through the tables, and you will see the actual enrolled for the year, projected enrollment for next year, and current total certified staff. So that is all certified, including principals, librarians, and counselors, and the anticipated certified staff for next year. And you will see that overall we are anticipating a decrease of 4 certified positions. You will see the elementary level 4 schools losing 1 position, Clark Middle gaining, Concrete losing 1, with the high school having no change. Do you all have any questions on this table before I move forward? This is the basic summary.
Stacy, if we had changes, you know, after the first few days of school or whatever.
Yes.
Those changes would just be would they result more in transfers? If folks are already under contract, they would not be removed.
Yes. For example, our allocation, our projected allocation this time last year was 241 teaching staff. The actual enrollment on 5th day projected that we needed 238, but because we already had those 3 teachers under contract, they remained at some of these schools, which may be why you see some of these schools now losing a position, is because they may have had an additional position at the beginning of the year.
It would have. I think it would have been good if we had had that additional column.
Right.
This.
Yes.
You have that.
Yeah. Well, and I knew there might be some questions.
Yeah.
So I have brought with me. My copy early, if you'll pass those around, to kind of show you. The spreadsheet I'm giving you is teaching staff alone. It does not include the administrative staff. To show you what was projected, what their 5th day enrollment showed they should have received, and the last column showing what they were allowed to keep and whether they were over under. So as I can see, you can see there are a couple of schools that maybe were allowed to keep 1 or 2 teachers above the allocation that now you can see.
Yeah, which reflects, yes. So we really have a change of 1 based on this. Yeah. Okay.
So hopefully that'll help you better understand.
Yes, thank you.
Yes. Also, just to add to that, I don't know if I was talking to Billy today.
You were.
Okay. If you all remember, about 2 years ago, we were actually 13 teachers over your staffing allocation.
Yes.
And so what we did that year was we made a concerted effort to ensure that we were going to follow the staffing policy. And when we followed the staffing policy, then the district was able to see a structured, balanced budget, because we were overstaffing, but we didn't really have the money based on our ADA. So when you started to adhere to the policy, then we were able to do a better job with meeting the needs of those particular schools. And as I have said to principals for the last 3 years, that equity doesn't mean equal. And they finally understand that sometimes there are schools who are in need of additional resources, and so the board has the autonomy to make those decisions. And so you will see here that some of the schools that were more low performing, that we were able to allow them to keep an additional staff member. Or as last year, you all gave me permission to give Sheer an additional first grade teacher because of their reading and math score. So that's pretty much what we do on that 5th day. We kind of look at the data from the year before, what their needs are, and what we have said to the principals is that we literally count warm bodies in a seat. And on that 5th day, then we have a face-to-face meeting with the principals and say, here's what your allocations really should be. And then we talk about if there's a real need for you to keep this teacher, then we try to do that if the budget will allow us to do that without getting into any financial situations where we couldn't handle it. And that's pretty much what you've seen happen with that sheet that Stacy just gave you. There was a lot of discussion and looking at a lot of data with principals.
It's also allowed us to do some things we haven't been able to do in the past.
Yes.
And that budget is so healthy now.
Yes.
And that's why we've been able to do, you know, that very first document that we looked at where it's showing all those numbers going down of that funding, but yet we're able to cover what the state is not covering.
And what we do, Stacy and myself, we bring in Pat, because she works a lot with the principals and certified staff, and we bring in Donna from special ed, and we literally have a face-to-face meeting with the principals when we give them their allocations so they can ask any questions based on what they have been allocated, so that we can explain to them if they have any questions about special ed, itinerant, or what their numbers are. And those are all starting to be scheduled for next week.
No, they're tomorrow, Thursday,
tomorrow,
actually.
That's right.
I got the same thing she does. That's why I'm so quiet tonight. The questions I had, Elaine answered them on the phone. It's basically, when I read this, I was thinking, the first thing that popped in my head is Shear's losing the certified, and Betty Bush is losing the certified, and Hannah McClure. You know, and once I got into it, I was thinking, okay, from my understanding was that this is bare minimum certified. We can always go back here to the 5th day and add. You know, once Lane said, once we get a warm body in that seat and count, it's easier to add than it is to move from school to school than it is to try to find a job in which there's no job.
Yes. We always, and the board has that autonomy. Of course, the staffing allocation allows for that. Obviously, we'll looking to make that count. So.
Other questions or comments related to the staffing information?
Table A. If not, I'll move forward quickly with these other tables. Table B1 and B2 show the projected enrollment, projected ADA, the minimum staff required, and the certified teaching staff that you see that will be allocated to each school. This is strictly to teaching staff on these two tables. The administrative are pulled out. And just a reminder again, special ed, any teachers paid from grant funds, so any schools that receive Title I, those positions would be above and beyond this allocation. And then Table C shows the other certified personnel that make up the difference between Table A and Table B 1 and 2. And as you'll see, there's little change except the way the rounding and everything worked out on the high school. It's a 1/10 of a position.
And what are the guidance counselors under for the high school?
For the high school, they come out of this additional 27.2 positions that they are given. We allocate a principal and a media specialist to the high school, and their assistant principals and counselors come out of this additional 27.2 positions that they are given. And the classified staffing, you'll see the breakdown of each category in Table D1. Not much has changed there. Table D2 will show you that due to projected enrollment, Central will receive 1 additional kindergarten assistant. They receive 1 kindergarten assistant for every 24 students, just as they receive 1 teacher for every 24 students. Section 6, the supplies and materials. As Dr. Ferris mentioned earlier, the seat base for next year is $3,833. We are allocating 3.5% of the seat base, which is $134.16 per pupil in ADA. So if you were to go back to tables B1 and B2, they show you the ADA for each school. That is what is multiplied by that $134.16. So that is all, unless you have any questions. That's the narrative with the questions.
Any questions or comments related to presentation?
As I said earlier, we're still working on a tentative budget, and what we have found so far is that we will be able to allocate based on what you're saying tonight. But I will like to add to the conversation is that the state board and the legislators have given districts the autonomy to decrease their Section 6 monies from $134 to $100. And what a lot of districts have had to do and are doing is with that savings, it's keeping them from having to lay off teachers. So we did discuss that, Dr. Wagner and Stacy and I. And what we wanted to do right now is keep it as it is. However, after we have actually put some dollars to the budget, there may be that we might have to come back and say, here's what we found. We don't think so right now, but I did want to add that as a caveat and let that show in the minutes that the legislators have given districts the autonomy to make that decision if there are some issues with their budget being balanced of this fiscal year. That could be the difference in 3 teachers.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're basically getting $34 times our enrollment.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Other questions or comments? Your recommendation, Dr. Ferris?
That we approve it. I make the motion that we approve the 2012-2013 school council staffing allocation and budgets.
Motion by Ms. Patkin.
Second. Go ahead.
Second by Mr. Swope. Other discussion? Those in favor of approving the 2012-2013 school council staffing allocations and budgets as presented, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, say no. The motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Mr. Christie.
First item on the agenda is the approval of pay application number 11 for Codell Construction Company for the Resident Observer Services at High School project in the amount of $9,375, as has been in the past.
Any questions? Your recommendation, Dr. Ferris? A motion is in order. Recommendation by a head shake. Motion by Dr. Kudak. Second. Second by Ms. Wool. Other discussion? Those in favor of approving pay application number 11 from Codell Construction Company for Resident Observer Services at the new George Rogers Clark High School in the amount of $9,375, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, say no. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Continuing,
Next item is the pay application number 17 for the general contractor, D.W. Wilbur, for the construction project of the new GRC High School, which is in the amount of $865,840, which will put us at above 65% completion. Moving quickly.
Yes. So your recommendation is Ferris?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Dr. Kudak,
Second.
second by Ms. Patkin. Other discussion? Those in favor of approving pay application number 17 from general contractor D.W. Wilburn for the new George Rogers Park High School project in the amount of $865,840, say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. Motion carries 5-0. Thank
Paul,
you.
Paul, have we posted those pictures that were taken when we took that?
The board tour?
Yeah.
I think it's,
They are?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
We got some new great panoramic pictures.
trying to do some different things with
There's some cool things.
photography on that now.
Okay.
And I also looked at trying to set it up to where it's a rolling screen instead of just having it sit in one, and writes on a picture of one, so it scrolls.
Rose, okay.
And continuing, Mr. Christie.
Along the line of the pictures, one thing that at some point we'll have that'd be real neat for you to see is on the elementary project, we've got a stationary camera set up that at the same time, every day, 2 times a day, snaps photos of the building. So we'll be able to, at the end of that project, be able to put together one of those time-lapse photography projects of the building from the grass till the building's complete.
That'd be neat.
It's taking 2 pictures a day, every day. Next item is a pay application from Codell Construction Company for construction services for the new elementary school project in the amount of $343,127.64.
I make the motion.
Motion by Ms. Patton. Second. Second by Ms. Wool. Other discussion? Those in favor of approving pay application number 4 from Codell Construction Company for construction services for the new elementary school project in the amount of $343,127.64, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. And continuing on.
Next item is approval of change order number 30. It's for weather days on the new GRC high school project for the months of December in 2011, January, February, and March of 2012 for a total of 28 days. That basically is your winter months. It's pretty amazing.
Any questions? Recommendation? Oh.
Paul, got a question. Will we have any more?
It's not all under roof yet.
Yes,
Right.
yes, it is. Yes, you probably will have, but they will be more and more minimal as we proceed now because we're down to the last section, Section E. They were pouring concrete on that. Section E is the side with the vocational, with the ag and ROTC side. They like that back section of that and the auditorium. That's the only areas that's not poured with the lightweight concrete at this point. I wasn't there
Next
today.
month.
I'm not sure they may have got some of the lightweight poured in the ag area today. They were working in that area.
Other
Ma'am.
questions?
Sorry.
Oh, that's fine. A motion is in order.
Make a motion.
Motion by Ms. Wool,
I'll second.
second by Dr. Kudak. Other discussion? Those in favor of approving change order number 30 for the 28 weather days for December 2011, January, February, March 2012 for the new George Rogers Park High School project, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed say no. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. And continuing.
Next item is to consider approval to avoid a direct purchase order for Dixie Light Troll. It's in the amount of $68,726. It's for the shades on the south side of the building. In your package, you had a letter from this company stating that they were not able to provide them at the specs required. So we want to delete that purchase order for the purchase of those.
Questions about that? Recommendation? Motion?
I make it.
Motion by Ms. Patkin,
Second.
second by Mr. Swope. Other discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed say no. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. And continuing.
The next item is to approve a purchase request to Best Blind and Shade Company. This is in the amount of $68,726. This is the next bidder that can meet the specs for the product and has been approved to meet the specs, and it's at the same amount, so there's no additional cost.
Okay. Recommendation? Motion?
Make the motion.
Motion by Ms. Wolf,
Second.
second by Ms. Patkin. Other discussion? Those in favor of approving the purchase request to Best Blind and Shade Company in the amount of that same $68,726 for the new high school project, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. And continuing with the kitchen equipment bid.
This is approval of bid package number 11 with Great Lakes West in the amount of $270,851 for the new elementary school project. These next couple purchase requests that you're seeing here are due to, these were the folks who bid on bid day, and we're wanting to take those bids now because we want to get their shop drawings, their floor and the footers and the flooring that you heard Mr. Smith talking about. We need these companies on board to get their shop drawings to know where to locate the things that go underground for them. That's the purpose of those.
This was part of that creative finance.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, and now we have the money.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Other questions? Recommendation? Motion?
I make it.
Motion by Ms. Patkin,
Second.
second by Mr. Swope. Other discussion? Those in favor of approving the kitchen equipment bid package number 11 to Great Lakes West in the amount of $270,851 for the new elementary school project, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed say no. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. And continuing with the gym wood flooring.
That's bid package number 13 for the elementary school project to Final Floor Incorporated in the amount of $51,071. If you noted on the bid sheets that I gave you as an attachment, they were not the low bidder on that piece of it. But when you add the other wood flooring that we're having done on the stage area, when you put those two together, then they become, when you add the two packages together, they are the low bidder, and it wouldn't make good sense to have two different.
Right. Yeah. Other questions? Thank you for that clarification, Paul. Other questions regarding the flooring? Recommendation? Motion?
I make it.
Motion by Ms. Patkin,
Second.
second by Ms. Wolf. Other discussion? Those in favor of approving the gym wood flooring bid package number 13 for Final Floor Inc. in the amount of $51,071 for the new elementary school project, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. And continuing, Mr. Christie.
Item number 18 is to consider approval for permission for Sherman Carter, Barnhart, and Codell Construction to go ahead and advertise and bid the remaining bid packages on behalf of the Clark County Schools for the new elementary school project and Concrete. This package, this is so they can start to put the bid package together. It would probably hit the streets in last of May, 1st of June, and bids would come in toward the end of the June, which would put you in a point that Mr. Nance and the others can come before you in the June meeting to look at the financing package that will become available in July, 1st of July.
And this will take care of everything.
Yes. And you have those other bid packages for each of the schools. I attached it as an attachment for you so you can see what those bid documents are going to be for each of the remaining for each of the schools.
Questions about that item? And this also deals with that the financing
Yes, it
part
does.
with the way we had to
And
break
before
that up.
this, they're just putting the bid packages together to get those out, and before you approve any bids, and when you see those, Mr. Nance will be back in front of you to talk about the financial part of it, the BG ones, and how that's going to go from there.
Okay.
With amended documents for that.
Other questions or comments related to that? Your recommendation? Motion is in order.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Dr. Kudak, second by Mr. Swub.
Dr. Swope.
Dr. Swub. Excuse me. Other discussion? Those in favor of granting permission to Sherman Carter Barnhart and Codell Construction to advertise and bid the remaining bid packages on behalf of the Clark County Public Schools for the new elementary school and the Conkright Middle renovation projects, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed say no. The motion carries 5-0. Thank you. The next item is to consider the donation and amount of donation for project graduation. We have most of the time donated $1,000 for that project. Is there sentiment to continue that amount or a different amount?
That's good.
Okay. Would someone like to make a motion to that effect?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Ms. Wolf, second by Dr. Kudak, to approve a $1,000 donation to project graduation. Other discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The motion carries 5-0. Thank you.
And that comes from our board. Our board. Thank you. Thank
Yes,
you.
yes. Yeah, you want to say discretionary, but it's not
It's not,
discretionary.
you know. Stacy knew what I was
It's
asking.
the board
Thank you.
activities section of the budget. The next will be the consent agenda items. A motion is in order to approve the following school trips in the BG4 closeout document, to acknowledge the reports, and to authorize payment of salaries and accounts payable. GRC FBLA trip to Louisville, Kentucky to compete in FBLA state competition April 23rd and 24th, 2012. GRC AP Art History trip to Covington and Cincinnati Art Museum for reward for the state and of course assessments. GRC PASS program trip to Cincinnati as reward for academic and behavior. GRC FFA trip to the Kentucky Leadership Center in Jabez, Kentucky to participate in the regional Envirothon competition May 10th and 11th. Clark Middle Band trip to Kings Island in Mason, Ohio for reward for proficient and distinguished rating at Concert Assessment Festival May 12th. Clark Middle 8th grade student reward trip to Kings Island in Mason, Ohio for academics and behavior on May 15th. To, a BG4 closeout document for direct purchase order number DPO 0746-35 and Clark County purchase order 11010060 for Quikrete in the amount of $249,662.50 for the new GRC project. Acknowledge the following reports: the cash position report, the Clark County Clerk's motor vehicle tax report, the Clark County Sheriff's report, the monthly financial report, the general fund budget summary report, the quarterly detailed school budget reports, the quarterly detailed district budget reports, the notice of personnel action report, and to authorize the payment of salaries and accounts payable. A motion is in order for those consent items.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Dr. Kudak.
Second.
Second by Mr. Swope. Other discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The motion carries 5-0. A motion is in order to adjourn to closed session for legal matters relating to proposed litigation per KRS 61.810, paragraph 1, subsection C. Motion by Ms. Wool. Second by Mr. Swope. Other discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries 5-0. Do you need a short break? No. Okay, then we will adjourn to closed session, and the rest of the meeting is adjourned at 7:59 p.m.
Was that